As the world mourns Pope Francis, history's most secretive transfer of power begins. White smoke, the path to a new pope, guides you through this momentous transition. We explain exactly what happens next, leading to the dramatic conclave vote. Learn how each ritual unfolds, what each tradition means, and why these ancient ceremonies still matter today. Follow along as the throne of St. Peter stands empty and a new chapter in church history begins. White Smoke, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you know what a group of flamingos is called? That's just one of thousands of facts you'll discover on 5 daily trivia questions. Hi, I'm Mark Ellison. Join me every weekday for 5 mind-expanding questions about everything from ancient history to modern technology. Perfect for impressing friends or dominating your next pub quiz. 5 daily trivia questions. And the answer, a group of flamingos, is called a flamboyance. 5 daily trivia questions.
Caloroga Shark Media.
Hi there, I'm Johnny Mac with 5 good news stories. Good news for a pair of Florida residents. They got to see Jay Leno, but better news for their neighbor, who the Jay Leno fans snatched from the jaws of death. An alligator had ran down Rick as Rick was walking his dogs down the street in Naples. Rick was passing a pond where he'd seen alligators lounging every so often, and then he felt a tug on the leashes of his dogs. There was an 11-foot-long alligator sprinting with its mouth open towards the dogs, and the dogs are Labradors. Rick said, "I tripped in all the frenzy, and the minute I fell down, the alligator got him." Rick and the alligator lay on the grass. The gator didn't even know what to do next. Rick said every so often you'd feel a lurch, a tug. He wanted to move me, but he couldn't. I was bigger than he had anticipated. I wanted to know that I was there. I had a lot of fight left in me, and I was very conscious of not passing out because the minute that would happen, I'd be done. He started poking the alligator's eyes and tried to pry its jaws open. No luck. Fortunately, Walt and Paula drove by. They saw what was going on. They thought he had fallen, but after the dogs moved a little, they were like, "Oh, an alligator." So here's what happened. Walt told Paula, "Put the dogs in the car." She did, and then he ran over the alligator with the car. The alligator lived and ran back down into the pond. Rick was okay. They used a t-shirt and a dog leash to stop the bleeding. They were nominated for a local newspaper contest, and they won tickets to go see Jay Leno. The world's first lab-grown meat for pets has gone on sale. That's right, dog treats made from lab-grown meat have gone on sale in the UK. Chick Bites are made from a combination of plant-based ingredients and Meatly's lab-grown chicken. Chick Bites has not revealed what the proportion there is. The lab-grown chicken meat was produced from a single sample of cells taken from 1 chicken egg. The company claims it's just as tasty and nutritious as traditional chicken breast. Does that mean somebody ate the dog food? Anyway, that's pretty good news if you're a chicken, I think. The Washington Post reported on a woman. She's 100 and she's journaled every day for 90 years and says there's no excuse for me not to. She hasn't missed a day since January 1st, 1936. Her dad had given her a diary so she could follow his tradition of recording the day's events in her hometown. It was a week before her 11th birthday. 9 decades and 33,000 entries later, she's still doing it, journaling every night before bedtime. The first entry reads, "Grandma's were at our place. Clarence walked from Aunt Alma's this morning." The diary goes on to tell us about farm chores, high school crushes, the births of her 3 children, the death of her husband in 2010. As you can imagine, it's more than one diary by this time. Dozens of volumes are kept in her cedar chest. And she says, "I never write in print letters. It's always in cursive. And every night when I finish writing, I always look back 1 year to see what I was doing the year before." In New Orleans, Scrim the dog became a hero. Scrim was a runaway dog, eluding capture and developing a giant fan base. Scrim evaded death at a shelter that needed to make room for more dogs. He's been shot at. He's dodged a train. He's ran across an interstate highway and survived on cat food left out for strays. He's around 3 years old, weighs 17 pounds, and has a coarse, cloudy fur. And for several months, a lot of people in New Orleans were looking for him. As he evaded capture, his fame grew, and so did his reputation, became almost a mythical figure. His saga has inspired tattoos, murals, Mardi Gras floats. In October, a tipster reported seeing Scrim in a parking lot where a limousine company parks its vehicles. They were able to shoot him with a dart gun. Scrim ran around for 7 minutes before wobbling down. People from the shelter got him and said, "You're safe." He had broken teeth, a chunk of his ear was gone, he'd been shot with a pellet gun, separate from the dart. He wound up in a new shelter home, and then one day they went up and checked, and he had bitten through the screen window on the second floor and gotten out again. Scrim had figured out how to use New Orleans one-way streets to his advantage. If he ran against traffic, it was harder for the humans to catch him. But they did catch him. Scrim squeezed into a trap that had been set for feral cats. 2 days later, he was at the rescue house. He was perfectly calm. But there are those who believe that Scrim is plotting, waiting for the perfect opportunity to run away again. White smoke. The path to a new pope explores humanity's most elaborate and secretive transfer of power, a process now unfolding following the death of Pope Francis. This series reveals the hidden rituals, ancient traditions, and behind-the-scenes drama of papal transition. As the Catholic world enters this solemn period of mourning and anticipation, join us in witnessing how the Church has perfected this sacred process over 2,000 years, and what happens in these crucial days when the throne of St. Peter stands empty. White Smoke brings listeners inside the conclave that will determine who will succeed Pope Francis and lead the Church into its next chapter. White Smoke, wherever you get your podcasts.
You can get this podcast completely ad-free right now. If you're on Apple, just click the banner that says Uninterrupted Listening, and you'll get your first month free. If you use Spotify or other podcast players, go to caloroga.com/plus. It's just $5 a month, and you'll get access to over 20 premium shows with no interruptions. Binge listen to new series like the political thriller Acting President, Signal Lost, where military secrets land on the wrong phone, and Pager Protocol, the thriller about exploding pagers in the wrong hands. Plus, enjoy daily shows like Palace Intrigue about the royal family, daily comedy news, and 5 daily trivia questions to test your knowledge, and White Smoke, taking you behind the scenes at what's happening right now at the Vatican. You also get all our hot shows like 5 good news stories. Enjoy your favorite content without any ad breaks. Remember, Apple users click the uninterrupted listening banner for your free first month, and everyone else head to caloroga.com/plus. Get ad-free listening today.
Sure, we'll do back-to-back dog stories. Congratulations to 2 therapy service dogs at a hospital in Ohio. They are retiring. Leisha and Chevy are 2 10-year-old golden retriever /lab/poodle mix dogs and graduates of the Canine Assistance. Canine Assistance is a nonprofit which trains and provides service dogs. They wrapped up their tenure at Cincinnati Children's with lots of cuddles and kisses. Carrie explained, so many staff members said that the dogs had impacted their time there, and it was just really to be able to come in and see the dogs one last time and kind of have that moment to say goodbye. It's something that's been such a huge part of their working life. As for Chevy, he's at a point where unfortunately he's not able to keep up the pace of going to work and engaging as much as he used to. So he's going to be getting lots of pets for the people he loves the most, spending a lot of time in the backyard, and taking lots of naps. And those are your 5 good news stories for today. I love that one. If you enjoy the program, tell a friend about it. They might like it too. You have an awesome day. Congrats, doggies.